You're watching Exit 1055 with your host, Richard Rose.
Hey, good morning. I'm Richard Rose. Welcome to Exit 1055 Long Island. This is your TV 1055 show about all things Long Island. In just a few moments, is the New York City area ready for self-driving cars? Well, we begin this morning with the recently approved agreement between federal and state officials to divert nitrogen-laced sewage from the Bay Park sewage plant in Nassau County to an existing ocean outflow pipe by converting a century-old aqueduct that's long been abandoned. For decades, treated sewage from the Bay Park plant has flowed right into Reynolds Channel. You're seeing some right there. It's fouled waters with excessive nitrogen, and that's been blamed for toxic algae blooms and large fish kills. Environmentalists and nearby residents have long demanded the construction of an ocean outflow pipe to divert the sewage further into the Atlantic Ocean rather than Reynolds Channel. But the price tag was beyond reach. That is, until all the parties have hit upon what appears to be a creative and rather brilliant alternative. And here to explain it is environmentalist Adrienne Esposito. She heads up the Citizens Campaign for the Environment, one of the parties that helped to spearhead this new plan that also comes, we're told, with a more affordable price tag. And welcome to the show, Adrienne.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and this is something you've been talking about for years in your group as well, and you were very much lobbying for it. Explain what the plan is, how it's going to work.
Well, I never thought we'd be this excited about a sewage pipe, I have to tell you. But the way the plan works is that the Bay Park Sewage Treatment Plant, which treats 50 to 58 million gallons of sewage each and every day.
Every day.
No day off. Right now, it discharges into Reynolds Channel. That's built up over the years, caused water quality to degrade, wetlands to weaken, fish populations to actually disappear, shellfish beds to close, and I could go on and on.
Yes.
So the objective is to get that outfall pipe out of the bay and into the ocean with upgraded treatment of technology and ability.
Why is it better to get it further out into the ocean?
Well, because right now the science has showed us, through Stony Brook University scientists, that sewage stays in western bays for over 100 days, and it just, this is gross, but it sloshes back and forth between Long Beach City and the mainland. And
it's a terrible smell, odor that people can't take. Some people actually get faint and dizzy from it.
It builds up. It builds up over time. So bottom line, the current plan is now to use an existing water aqueduct which transverses Nassau County parallel to Sunrise Highway. That aqueduct can take the treated sewage from Bay Park and then connect it to an existing ocean outfall pipe at the Cedar Creek plant.
So that way you don't have to build this whole brand new system. You've got one that exists, and this is really about connecting it?
It's about a connection process, which is very, very easy to do.
Couple of miles that they have to build to connect to both the beginning of it and the end of it to get it all straight. But the price tag on that is much lower, because before it had been $600–700 million, no?
Yeah, well, the price tag before was coming in at about $550–600 million for a new ocean outfall pipe. This, fortunately, is a bargain at $300 to $350 million.
Still a lot of money.
Yeah, but
where's that money going to come from?
But we've been lobbying for 15 years. We've already gotten federal grants, state grants, and the county to pony up some money. So it's a collaboration between all levels of government, because it's everybody's problem, and everybody has to join in the solution. And
so now this cuts down primarily on the nitrogen, which was never part of the solution with treating sewage, was it? And that turning out to be the most damaging part of it in many ways, right? Something many of us never realized, only just coming to realize now.
That's correct. But fortunately, also what's happening at Bay Park is two different what's called denitrification processes are being added. Simply means that the nitrogen, which is currently at about 35 to 37 parts per million, will be reduced by over 50% to about 15 to 17 parts per million.
Yeah, because this is gross to look at, too. This is right after Superstorm Sandy, when it overflowed by a huge amount of sewage. I think 100 million gallons. Yeah.
No, billions.
Billions.
Billions of gallons of raw or partially treated sewage flowed out from the Bay Park plant. I mean, an 8–9 foot wave hit it. It basically engulfed the plant, destroyed it, set it offline. But, you know, it's offline, but that doesn't mean the sewage stops.
Right. And it went into neighbors' homes as well, which was pretty awful, right into the streets.
Down the streets.
And, of course, out into the Reynolds Channel. Now, FEMA kicked in a big amount of money. I think it was $700–800 million for them to do something to improve this plant so that this would never happen again. Has that been done?
$830 million from the federal government. Senator Schumer was very instrumental in that. And that plant is being upgraded to a state-of-the-art plant. So we'll have two things, Richard, and this is the good news for the public. We'll have an ocean outfall, but we will also have more sophisticatedly treated sewage. Less nitrogen, but also more treatment. So it's great news.
Here's the thing, you know, people, they see the word aqueduct, and you even see it in some of the old signage when you pass it along the South Shore, even going into Brooklyn. And people, I don't even know what it was used for in the past. This is like a long-forgotten technology, right? Tell us about the aqueduct.
Absolutely. I mean, the pipe is 100 years old. It was only used to transport water, fresh, clean water, from Nassau into Queens.
Back in the day.
Back in the early 1900s.
Right.
So the pipe was built of solid steel back in 1908. And the great news is that the county hired globally renowned engineers to go in that aqueduct that's 6 foot around. So it's a big pipe. And walk through it and do an engineer's report and inspection to make sure it's in good shape.
So does it need to be retrofitted or something, or a little bit? It's
in great shape. According to the engineer's report, they will be sleeving it, and that means actually putting a liner inside the pipe.
Oh, yeah, I read it, like a fiberglass liner.
Yes. To be absolutely sure, because we don't want any mistakes. And it's good to go. Now,
there was some grumbling, maybe it was just because it was political season with people up for election, about perhaps the folks over by Cedar Park not being happy about this sewage being brought from Bay Park over to Cedar Creek, right? Is there any chance that that could block this? Or
Absolutely
is that an obstacle, or is this a done deal?
This is going to move forward because anybody with common sense understands the value of it, the economic value and also the ecological value. The sewage will never be above ground. No one will smell it. No one will know that each of the plants have been retrofitted. There'll be some construction, and that will be a minor, disruption. But the long-term benefit is our bay will be cleaner. We expect this bay to recover within 2 years.
Wow, that would be dramatic.
That would be dramatic.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
And what a great solution, and certainly still a lot of money, but almost half, not much more than half the price of what it was first talked about. So when are they going to actually start work on this? When will we? You say it'd take about 2 years. When are they going to begin, though?
Well, right now the county has put out what's called an RFP, and the construction part has to be designed and approved by the Nassau County Legislature. Once that happens, it's going to take about 18 months, I hear, for the construction.
Well, we're all looking forward to it. We've already put in to get a view of it, but I think they're not quite ready to show it off to us. But we all want to see what this aqueduct, with its new repurposed use for the 21st century.
That's right.
And how it's going to help solve a major environmental problem for us. Adrienne Esposito with the Citizens Campaign for the Environment. Thanks for the progress report on this innovative approach. We'll be watching.
Thanks. We're very excited. We'll be telling you how it goes.
It's good to have some good news once in a while.
It really is.
And when we return, dozens of accidents at the same intersection. Why is it taking so long to install a traffic light there?